It's just, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Welcome back to another episode of King of the Box. I appreciate y'all coming back. I'd like to introduce to you guys today, I have a great guest. I have my boss, Chrissy Bailey, one of the nicest human beings you ever meet. I hope I get lucky in the future and keep having cool bosses like you.
Thank you.
You are the Director of Wellness Promotion here at UCCS.
Mm-hmm.
But who are you and what do you do? What does that title mean and who are you?
Okay. So as the Director of Wellness Promotion, I get to lead an amazing team with 2 grad assistants and 2 coordinators. I also get to oversee our nutrition program. We have a brand new dietitian that just started today. Yay. But our team gets to do all things prevention, outreach, events around all topics around health and wellness that impact students. Mm-hmm. So here at UCCS, I also get to look at data. We do the National College Health Assessment every 2 years. So looking at that data for our students. I also get to collaborate with a lot of different departments across campus on all kinds of initiatives and programming that impacts our students. I also get to work on bigger picture strategic planning for the university around health and wellness. So I've been in this role for about 3 years. I've worked in health and wellness at UCCS for about 19 years in different roles, and in health and wellness overall in over 20 years. I'm not a mental health clinician, so I know we're talking about some mental health stuff. I'm not a licensed professional, but I've talked to and interacted with a lot of people, been in this world for a while. That's me.
So who are you outside of this role, though? What do you do outside?
Outside of this role, I'm kind of boring, which I really like. I'm married. I have an adult son, so empty nester, which is nice. I really like to do jigsaw puzzles. I'm a total puzzle nerd. I like to be outside. I really enjoy the outdoors. That's kind of my peaceful, happy space. I have family close by, which I really enjoy. My parents and my sister and her family are nearby. My husband's family too. I like to be home, but I like to travel a little bit here and there.
You said Greece, right? I think we were talking at a cooking class. You said you went to Greece or somewhere crazy.
I haven't been to Greece, but that's a place I'd like to go. I've been to India and South Africa and Europe for the first time this last summer. I like to have adventure here and there, but I also am kind of a homebody. I like to stay home.
I think that's where I'm at. I was like, people say you grow to learn where you go. Or I was like, I've always been a homebody, and I think I'm going to continue. Yeah, something about it that just hits a little different. Mm-hmm. But as we talk, you had your amounts of experience. How do you think that mental health has shifted over time?
I think big picture, what I've seen, there's a lot more awareness around mental health, especially since I was starting out. A lot more people are aware of the importance of mental health. A lot more people are aware of the connection between mind and body, that your emotional health and your physical health and your spiritual health and intellectual well-being all go together, which is part of why I love working here at the UCCS Wellness Center. We really have an integrated model where we see that whole picture, which is my perspective for sure. People are whole people. So that's exciting. I feel like the stigma around getting mental health help is a lot less than it used to be. I think there's a lot of progress in that direction. I also really like the newer focus on resilience. There's a lot of research around what makes people resilient and how people heal after trauma. Our Lyda Hill Institute for Human Resilience is doing some great work around that, but I think that's really helpful and encouraging, finding out that, yeah, life is hard and people go through hard things, but we recover and people are okay, and figuring out how we do that. So I think that's really encouraging.
Yeah, and I think this is gonna be a growing, just with all the things that happen in the world, all the different things. I think that this conversation on mental health is only gonna keep growing and keep. But I love how much awareness it keeps growing. Like all the people that are talking about it, all the people that are like pushing, like making this like known. I think that it's only gonna help it, and I hope like we keep doing that and more in the future.
I agree.
But now we're going to get into women's mental health.
Okay.
Which, for all y'all that said it's just a men's mental health podcast, now you know it's not. Thank you. Jeez. No longer, I don't want to hear anyone talking about, I need a woman's touch, nothing. Now it's been done, and we're going to continue doing it in the future.
Okay, good. Like, I don't want that whole responsibility, Darius.
I want to, eventually, I have to have my mom on one time eventually. And then I have a lot of really cool friends and family that I'd love to have on. But to start it off, why do so many women struggle with feeling enough? And even when they're caring a lot and accomplish a lot and show up for others?
I think that is a common issue for women. Maybe more than men, or at least the people I know. And I'll say too, I don't speak for all women.
Oh yeah. No.
Or for UCCS or the Wellness Center. I just speak from my own experience and people I know. But I think that's a complicated question, Darius. I think for one thing, a lot of women take on too much. It's hard to say no to things. So we spread ourselves a little too thin, and then we get overwhelmed. I think also the things that we invest in, our time and energy in, we usually care a lot about those things, especially the people and the relationships. So it means a lot to us that we do show up and that we do a good job. And then I think we also put unrealistic expectations on ourselves. Like when we say we want to be a good mom, like the image of good mom is a perfect mom. Or if, we say we want to be good at our job or a good student, that means straight A student, 5-star performance evaluation.
Gotta be like the peak.
Do
perfect.
the best.
Where do you think that comes from? Like, for me, like when I think about being a good dad, I think about like just my situation. I think about the father figures I've had in my life, and I know I want to take elements from all that, and I want to put that into me, and I want to be the best father I can be in the future. And so like I know where like my mindset comes from when I think of that. But like, where do you think for women like that? Where does that come from? Is like, where does this have to be the peak, the perfect, the best come from?
I think that depends on personal experience. Like I had a great mom, have a great mom, thankfully. Oh, and I probably just hit this microphone, but so I have a really good example of what a great mom looks like. I think we also have a lot of images and pictures of what a great mom looks like, or what a great professional looks like, or whatever. And then we kind of inflate it. I was thinking I think women more than men blend all the different parts of their lives together. We're not as good at compartmentalizing things. So sometimes if we feel like we're really failing at one part of our life, in our mind, we're like failing at everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because, maybe we're having a hard time with a relationship at home.
Mm-hmm.
We bring that to work. We're not focused on what we're doing at work. So then we're not doing a good job at work, and then go to class, not paying attention because you're thinking about screwing up at work.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, you are failing at a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, like for me, we do a lot of like mindfulness practices and practicing being present in the moment. And for me, that's something I really try to hold on to because it's really easy to ruminate about past failures or worry about future potential failures or just be thinking about other things and not being in the moment with who you're with at the time. And if you can do that, you're much more likely to enjoy the moments of your life and also feel like you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Or at least recognizing in this I'm okay and then this I need to work harder.
So like that even just leads into like me being raised by a single mother and hopefully sometime soon being blessed with a beautiful girlfriend, a wife, or whatever it is. What can I do as a young man to be more supportive when like without trying to fix the problem? Like what can I do for other young men like me?
I think the first thing is noticing the women in your life. Say thank you when they do something for you. I think of your mom, appreciating all of those things she does for you. That goes a long way. I think also acknowledging when you see they're doing something really well and, giving that little boost of encouragement. And then when you notice they're struggling, I think it's important to ask how they're doing, but also determine if they want some help fixing it or some advice, or if they just need someone to listen. Because sometimes I think men are really good at fixing things and they really want to fix things and make things better, but sometimes we just need someone to sit with us and listen. So I think starting there and then, helping in the way that's needed.
So that kind of even makes me ask, like, for me, I know I have the tendency to do this with just every relationship I have, but like instead of like asking first, I tend to give space first and then ask later. So do you think it'd be better to ask first to see what they need before giving the space? Like if I see like my mom's about to like explode and I'm like, I feel like I just need to give her a little space. Should I like just do it or should I just ask before I do it?
I think it depends on the relationship. And that's a hard thing too. Like there's not always a right answer, but I mean, do you feel like you know your mom pretty well?
Yeah.
And so you can kind of tell if she just needs a minute, because sometimes we need a minute where we don't want anyone to bother us. But if you don't know, I think it's better to ask than assume. I mean, for me, I don't mind if someone says, do you just need to be alone right now, or do you need someone to talk to? I think you have to kind of play it by ear.
I try to judge it. I normally just go the space route because I feel like even with myself, I know when sometimes it's nice to get space before someone says something to me. Like even me and my friend, he had a rough day over break because he had to go into work and he was struggling with people. And he was like, I kind of just wanted to go home and I just needed a little space before I can talk about it. But I know that's something that I've noticed within my male friends. I don't know if it's the same with my female friends because I normally just automatically do it. I think that that's just how it's worked with my male relationships. I just never really knew if I'm in the wrong for doing that with my female relationships or what it was.
You can go wrong with that sometimes. I think at least for me and most women that I know, checking in
Yeah.
is nice, because then we know that you notice that we're not doing okay. And then it's okay to say, are you okay? Or, just check in, because then they know. And you can even say, I'm here if you want to talk.
Yeah.
And then if they need space, they can tell you.
I just need, I think that's something I definitely want to work on a lot more, is just asking, I guess. I feel like that's what I've noticed. Like, I feel like a lot of us young men need to ask more before we just assume. Like, you can't, that's just anything in life. You can't really assume. And so you just got to ask the questions, but don't ask them in a way that it's like offensive or anything like that. Just ask, being comforting, I guess.
Yeah.
In a way.
And just checking in.
Yeah.
And then being ready to listen. And if they need help fixing a problem, you'll know.
Yeah.
And then you can go down that route. But
Yeah.
I think just checking in. I think oftentimes women just need to know that someone sees them, and just having someone check in is really nice.
So that leads me into, what's one message about mental health you would wish more women heard earlier in life?
I think don't be so hard on yourself. I think a lot of young women and older women and guys too are hard on yourself. And give yourself permission to grow and change. Just because you think you want something or you have a goal doesn't mean that you can't change it. Like, you're going to grow and change your mind, and that's okay. And I think know the people that you can go to. I think that's really important. We can't function in this world alone. So I would say to young women, know those people that you can go to, and go to them if you're not okay. And then I think finally, and I think this is for women and men, but know what anchors you. Know what will hold you when life gets crazy, because it will get crazy. And that can look different for different people. Like, for me, it's my faith in God. And I think, when this life is out of control, or I don't know, I know that God's got me. And there's something bigger than me than this. And I think we need that as people. And so if you don't know what that is, start exploring that. Figure out what that is for you. And then once you find it, get in the habit of going back there when things are good and not good. But when things are not good, what is your foundation that holds you up?
Yeah, 100%. I think, we'll get into it a little bit here soon, but just having that anchor, I think that's going to help anybody and everything, especially in tough situations or good or bad situations. Just knowing you have an outlet or somebody or something that you can rely on, I think will help you. Kind of just going back into the having the anchor, if you don't mind, kind of sharing that conversation we had last week about the David.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking along these lines. Like, we go through our life and it seems mostly predictable, and we have this kind of false sense of control. And then something happens and it pushes us outside of that safety zone, and we want to get that control back. And I was thinking about this last week, and one thing that came to my mind is walking into work every day. I get to walk by the most amazing view of Pikes Peak every single day, and I look at that every single day, and it reminds me that the God who made that mountain holds me, and I'm okay. Even when life is not okay, I'm still okay. And I think of the Bible verse, Psalm 121, that says, I look to the hills, where does my help come from? It comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. And King David wrote that psalm along with a lot of the other psalms. And I was thinking about King of the Box and your connection with King Darius in the Old Testament of the Bible. And King David, was one of the greatest kings in history, and he's in the Bible a lot. And he had a lot of weight on his shoulders, a lot of struggle, a lot of unpredictable. His life was completely out of control a lot of the time. And, he came back to that anchor, like, what holds me when this life is insane? And for him, it was God. And that really resonates with me. And then, like, what we're going to talk about a little bit more, but he expressed a lot of that through songs and stories and poems in the book of Psalms in the Bible.
It's so funny when you talk about stuff like that to me, because you remind me of so much of Miss Pat, the lady I talked about in the first episode. She used to take me to Bible school, and she was the nicest lady. Like, she used to babysit me, nicest person ever. But she was like that one person, obviously up until conversations with you, that, like, when we talked about faith-based stuff, like, it kind of made me think about it again. Like, I believe in God. I think about him, and I think about, like, my relationship with him is different from everybody else. I think about those things, but just like David and then the King Darius, I kind of just re-sparked that, like, kind of mindset in my head. And just thinking about all those different stories that we learned throughout the Bible, it just tells me the power of stories and how much they, like, really mean to people. And whether you have like the Christian faith like we have, or you have faith in other things, or you don't have faith in a kind of religious wise, but like you have faith in like TV shows or like, not faith, but stories and TV shows and movies or books. Like I was telling you earlier, like, I read this whole cool book called Red Rising. I'm not sponsoring that, but it's a really good book. You should read it. But just even reading that, and like, I promise you, on Saturday, I was probably on chapter 10, and I had 8 hours on the audio thing, and I finished the whole book that day.
Whoa.
8 hours of reading.
You were sucked in.
Yeah, that's how sucked in I was. Or like, even like anime, like me and you were talking about One Piece and how cool that is, and I'm gonna have you talk about that here soon. But like, why do you think stories have like so much power when it comes to emotion and like healing?
I don't think it's the stories themselves. I think stories connect us to things that we hold, whether it's our core values or our faith or an experience or a person. I think a good story connects with that piece inside of us. And what I love about a good story too is it connects us to like the things we have in common as humans and the human experience. There are things that we all share and experience in this life on earth, and a good story connects that to you as a person and also connects you to other people.
Stories, man. It's just like,
I love a good
I
story.
really like the way you put it too, of like that, what we're like, it's like we're feeling that emotion. Like we could be simply watching a TV show, and we're thinking we're feeling the emotions of like what's going on in the TV show, and probably a little bit in part it is that, but you are unlocking just like that little bit of feeling in yourself. And I just like the way you put that.
Oh, thanks.
And I was like thinking about that with conversations that I was having with friends and stuff like that. Like, it really is like that. Like, I'm trying to think of what is a show I recently, like, probably One Piece. Just like when that whole thing, spoiler alert, when Ace died,
Mm-hmm.
when that whole thing, it's like, in that moment, I'm watching Luffy lose his brother,
Mhm.
right? And that kind of, I was feeling that emotion. I was like, wow, like this, like hurting. And like, if I dive into a little bit deeper, it's like, okay, I kind of felt like that's kind of how I was feeling a little bit when I lost my sister. Like,
Yeah.
I was able to unlock a little bit of that emotion, and like it did go to my head, but like I was also kind of like, no, I'm just feeling this way because I saw it in the show, but it's not always the case.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no matter, kind of, you can't really control that.
Mm-hmm.
And it, as much as it kind of sucked that I cried, but you should be comfortable crying and stuff. I didn't really expect to be crying, but it felt good because it was like I felt an emotion.
And I think sometimes emotions can be locked up and you can't get them out on your own. And a good story can help let it out. And so, I mean, sometimes you just need a really good cry, or you just need to laugh really hard.
Yeah.
And a good story can stir that, and then you can get that good cry out, or have a really good laugh.
Yeah.
And it's cathartic. It really, it helps you feel better. It does.
It's just like, I can't even put the words to it. It's just like that right there has so much power. And I think even for me, like we talked about this the other day, of like how I've always put TV shows and movies as my outlet, my like kind of escape from my, like the real stuff going on in my life sometimes, and being able to get caught up in those emotions in the TV show, that kind of helps me, obviously, like we said, feel that, but it makes me feel in a way where it's not overwhelming, as if I was completely feeling my own feelings.
Yeah.
And I just think there's something special about it, and I want that to be known a lot more, because I feel like from time to time people shame that a little bit, just because, like, if most people say, like, when you're reducing stress or something, people automatically like, oh, go to the gym, go on a run, or go outside, or all that stuff. And I did, like, yes, that stuff works, but like, it doesn't, not everything works for everybody. And like, it's just all in finding your own thing.
I agree totally. Yeah.
And if you wouldn't mind, could you share a little bit of like your connection with anime and kind of the stuff we talked about?
Yeah. So, my family, my husband and my son like anime a lot. My son really got into Japanese animation young, like Pokemon. He was a total Pokemon fan. So when he was little, I became a Pokemon aficionado. I knew a lot about Pokemon. And then as he got older, he started, looking at other stories and reading manga and watching the anime. And this is a kind of a funny side story, but he wasn't a big reader in, like elementary, middle school. And we, as parents do, you're always trying to get your kid to read because they need to read, you gotta read. And he really liked anime, and you could get anime either with subtitles or dubbed. And we started playing the subtitled ones, and he loved it.
Yeah.
He loved them, and he would read the show. And so it got him into reading in a totally unexpected way. And then he started reading more books and kind of appreciating that story written. And
I before I cut you off, but like, I love when you tell that. Like, when you told me that the first time, I thought that was so awesome, because like, for me growing up, I had a reading disability, and so it was always a struggle for me to like, obviously, like, process words and process the different things, and that's just what my reading disability was. And so I honestly wish I found out like something like that sooner, because that would have been so cool, because I think with the action and all that stuff, like it forces you to like read and understand at the same time. And so I think if I would have done that then, I think that would have helped me so much. And I think that's just a cool method that isn't really people talk about.
Yeah, and I don't know the science behind it, but it really worked for Matthew. And then I watched shows with him, and my husband likes anime too. We watched a lot of Naruto. A lot of Naruto. And then Eric and Matthew, my husband and my son, watched One Piece years ago. And I would only catch it every once in a while. And it's so silly. Like the drawing and the characters, they're very exaggerated. And I would just catch a little bit of it, and I did not understand it at all. And then it was just recently, in the last couple of years, I actually sat down and watched One Piece. And my son is grown and doesn't live with us anymore. And I watched One Piece with my husband, and like you said, these characters, like they really touch your heart. Their relationships, the way they care for each other, is really cool. There's still a lot of really silly stuff in One Piece. There's a lot of filler episodes.
Oh, tons.
So many. But the core characters and their relationships to each other is really cool. And I mean, there's good and bad in all genres, but I think anime does a good job of connecting with that piece and showing connections and relationships. And I love that it crosses culture. It's not dependent on where you grow up or what language you speak, or even what time period you grow up in. I mean, they're in this fantasy world, but some of those common human experiences, they do a good job of connecting those.
I think
it's cool.
It's very slept on, like very like everyone kind of. I think it's growing over time now, but like I think. At least when I started, I kind of like hated on it just like a little bit. Like I think that's just like, I don't know. I've always liked like cartoons and like Power Rangers and stuff like that. Like that's what it was for me growing up. And so it took me a little bit to get into anime, especially like I think the first anime I watched was Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that. So like it took me to get through that, and then. My friend McKindy, I joked about it on the last episode, but he was in the last episode. He used to read manga, and he used to go, like in high school, he would go into our locker room because it would be open for like the players and stuff, and he'd just go like sit and hide in there. And I'd be like, what are you doing? Like, you're so weird for that. Like, what are you, like, why are you going to go hide out in like the locker room instead of like socializing with people and be out here, right? And I read it for the first time. Like he put me on this one. It's called Soul Leveling. It just got adapted into an anime recently. And I started reading it and I was like, whoa, this is actually like, And like, even during then I hadn't read many comic books or anything like that. It took me till like a couple years ago to get into that stuff too. But when I started reading manga, it almost became an addiction because I was like, whoa, like this is so cool. Like I'm reading this art and reading these stories and stuff like that. And like one day, if I ever got it in me, I'd love to read One Piece, but that is watching it is already hard.
Yeah.
Like 1,000+ episodes.
That's the other thing. So many anime series, they're long.
Yeah.
Like they just keep writing and making more.
Imagine with the manga too, it's like that's already like so much of the anime is already done because it's done in manga, and now they're only adapting it, and then they're still making the manga. So like
stories just keep
like
going.
One Piece, it's 1,000 episodes, 1,000+ episodes adapted, but there's probably 2,000 chapters of manga,
right?
And like it's like but just I think it took me a little longer than others to appreciate a lot more. And now that I have it in my life, I appreciate it so much. Like I needed to understand the whole hype of like this anime. It's like the time I reincarnated as a slime. It's like this new, very popular one. And I like had to understand
I've not
it.
seen that, but
I don't think it's that great. Like I've finished it. I didn't think it was that great. I kind of like some of like the stories and like just the characters. Like you always find a character that you could kind of relate to, and like just like the importance of friendship and the importance of taking care of the people you love and protecting them and that type of stuff that you gain from anime. And that's something I was able to take away from like, would I say that anime is in my top like 20 or something like that? No. But was I able to take something away from that? Then yeah, 100%. And I think that's something with all stories. Like it doesn't even have to just be anime. It could be like I said, I'm a big Power Rangers and superhero guy. So it's like I'm able to like, obviously superheroes aren't real exactly, but you can take things from their relationships and like how they act and the things that they do. And I think characters like that are so important. And I think we learn something from everything we see, I guess. Or read. Yeah, definitely read. Like my new book. Yeah. I'm starting the second book here soon.
Yeah.
Just like, I think it's just so important. Like, I think even like that just leads into like conversation on journeys. Like we talked about the Bible, we talk about anime, we talk about everything else, and you see these characters going on a journey. And I think it's so important to understand that we are also going on a journey. And so it's cool with these stories and stuff that we can see their journey, and we can realize like even One Piece, that's like the best thing. I love how long it is, just because it's kind of like long like our lives in a sense, right? I think it's been 20 plus years how long that anime's been going on or something like that.
Probably.
But like, it's so real, right? Because they are going through life, like going through it slowly and going to like all these different all this different filler, going all through these like different paths and stuff. Like for us, we see like, we know God has a path for us and we're walking that path. And so it's cool when you watch these TV shows and all these different stories, like you can see them going through their story. And I'm hoping that everyone can kind of take that for themselves, is like see that like you're going through your story right now too. Like not everything is set in stone, and like days are gonna be hard, days are gonna be great. Like you just gotta keep pushing through. So yeah, I like that, Darius. And when you look at the whole story, like when you are reading a book or watching their show, you get to see their whole story sometimes. And knowing that we have a whole story, and right now we're just in this one chapter, or on this one page, and it may be a really good, cool page that we like a lot, or maybe one that is really hard, but knowing that it's just a little section of your whole story, I think can help push through those harder chapters, because you know this isn't the end of the story, and we don't know what the end is, and we get to make choices and kind of choose our own adventures on some, and a lot of it's outside of our control too. But as a whole, we end up with this one story that's ours, and it's not like anybody else's. Just kind of cool. So now, before we end it and stuff, I didn't give you these, but I wanted to ask you, just kind of as someone that has watched some of the past episodes and stuff like that, like what do you think the importance of doing something like this is? Like, I know for me that I believe that stuff like this helps outreach and helps like having simple conversations can do so much importance, and like having people come in and see that But like, what have you gained from seeing some of these past episodes?
I think it's a really cool project. And I think, kind of like you said, like you can have these cool conversations just out in the world, but some conversations are good to share. And I think hopefully watching conversation sparks your own conversation. You know, people will think about things and then go have a conversation with somebody else. Or maybe it'll make them think about something in just a little bit different way or appreciate something. I really enjoyed your first episodes, and it's kind of like you get a little peek into a conversation, and listening to and watching you and the other guys talk about men's health and men's mental health and your own experiences was a conversation I haven't been a part of in that way. So I think you all sharing that with other people, I think is valuable. And even if people watch and they're like, nope, I got nothing from that, that's fine. You know, but hopefully, you know, a few people will get a little something out of it. What kind of feedback have you heard so far?
Well, the biggest one was when I needed a woman's touch or perspective. But besides that, I think everyone's appreciated just kind of having a simple conversation. Having, like you look at these podcasts now, it's a lot of people later in life having conversations with younger people, but it's not, I haven't really seen like young people having conversations with everybody. Like, no matter like the age gap or whatever it is, like I haven't seen someone I get are similar to me, I guess. And so I get a lot of positive feedback on like, I love the way you hold yourself and like a lot, like all those different things. And I love that you're having these conversations with people and stuff like that. So it's been a lot of good.
Good.
Yeah.
You make it easy to talk.
I try.
Yeah.
I think the hardest thing for me in doing this is obviously like when you ask the questions, you want to like kind of listen, but then I also feel like my mind's being like a million miles, like going a million miles an hour. And so, and like I also try not to stutter, but like, you know, I think even with that, it shows how real it is, how real the conversation is. And so I think I love it. Like as someone that's an introvert, doing this is very like so far out of my box, but like I've gotten so comfortable after the past couple, and hopefully like I'm going to start working on my literature review and stuff like that for my, like to be able to do this as my capstone project. But even after that, like I want to continue to do it. And I like to tell people, like I told my mom, of your reaction, because you and Christy were the first people to kind of see the first episode, and your reaction when you had like a tear come down. I was like,
it touched me.
That was like that was the best reaction. And so that even just goes into like, I very much appreciate you. I very much give you your flowers because you've been very helpful, I guess, in this process.
Well, thank you.
And
I hope so.
Yeah, and I hope we can continue doing fun things.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
I want to see your mom on one of these episodes.
Oh, definitely.
I really
She will be on one soon. I'm thinking March. Because then that could be like a little birthday present or something.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Hopefully don't have to spend money on a gift, but probably will. But yeah, thank you guys for coming to another episode of the podcast. I want to leave you off on something that I thought it was really cool. I found this quote on my desk the other day, and I don't know how long it's been there, but I think I appreciated it a lot, so I wanted to share it. You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. And that comes from Winnie the Pooh, the amazing story character. I hope you think about that quote, maybe even watch a little bit of Winnie the Pooh. I'll catch you guys later. Thank you.